Warning! I am not a doctor. Please don't take this as medical advice. There's something strange about influenza. Flu season has arrived again. The word influenza derives from the Italian language meaning influence and refers to the cause of disease. It was 1917, and not only was the United States fighting a war to end all war, but another war was taking place. Not against people, but against a virus that was spreading like wildfire. Life expectancy in the US had dropped about 12 years due to the influenza pandemic, which was also referred to as the Spanish flu. It was named the Spanish flu because this virus wore a sombrero. No, wait. No, I'm wrong. Okay, here we go. It didn't originate from Spain, but being that Spain remained neutral throughout the war, they were free to report the epidemic. The attention of the virus was focused on Spain reporting the spread, hence the Spanish flu. In the US, healthy people in their prime years were dying, which was odd because the very young and the very old were ones susceptible. It infected 500 million people around the world, killing an estimate of 20 to 50 million, 675,000 being Americans. It's considered the worst flu epidemic. Fast forward 100 years later, and we are now advised to protect ourselves from the flu with a flu shot annually during the flu season. To make an educated decision on whether or not to get the flu shot, let's first understand how the virus works. Influenza virus. The virus is inhaled or transmitted, making its way down to the respiratory tract, securing itself onto the epithelial cells, making its way inside. Once inside, the cell is hijacked. It replicates itself and goes after an adjacent cell thereafter. The CDC states that the typical incubation period for influenza is 1 to 4 days, average 2 days. Most healthy adults may be able to infect others beginning 1 day before symptoms develop and up to 5 to 7 days after becoming sick. Now that we got that out the way, let's now talk about one of the few steps the CDC recommends us to take as prevention. The flu shot. The vaccine injects inactive flu into your system, causing your white blood cells to form antibodies, responding to the inactive virus, strengthening your immune system against it, creating a memory. So when a living flu virus invades your immune system, your body will recognize the virus and easily fight it off. So think of the flu shot as injecting a wanted sign. That may sound normal to you guys, but to me, there's something strange about influenza. Apparently, there's 5 seasons I wasn't aware of. Winter, spring, summer, fall, and flu. Flu overlaying itself over fall, winter, and spring. Somehow. Anyway, listening to Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, a nephrologist, she references a study conducted by A.C. Hayward. The study looked at 1,400 unvaccinated people and monitored them through the flu season. And under his examination, both T cells and antibody levels were measured before and after the infection. And what he found was that the unvaccinated with pre-existing natural occurring cross-protective T-cell immunity protected them best against influenza, not antibodies. A small percentage of naturally immune people shed the virus after the infection, which means people who have been naturally infected by influenza are the true herd immunity, where a study conducted by a group of doctors reported an increase in shedding by 6-fold when getting the flu shot. You see, every year there's a new strain, so every year they take a guess on which strain will hit next. If the right strain is given, then your body will have the antibodies created from the flu shot to fight that specific strain only. I know what you're thinking. Let me just go out there, catch the wild virus, get infected, and create T cells. It's not that simple. The virus had been made, manipulated, and mutated so many times. There's millions of strains, so you're going to need to take a few steps. 1. Foods. Ever heard of the term, you are what you eat? Depending on the part of the body, your cells regenerates every so often, and it uses the foods you eat to do so. So if you have an unhealthy eating habit, guess what? You're going to have an unhealthy response to infections. You're going to need to eat live foods with vitamins, minerals, and enzymes. The chicken soup during illness isn't an old wives' tale. Dr. Stephen Bernard conducted a study on chicken soup and found that chicken have anti-inflammatory properties that aid against a cold. So grandma wasn't crazy. Eating healthy is extremely important. 2. Sleep. You're going to need adequate sleep. Ever heard of cytokines? It's derived from two Greek words, cyto meaning cells and kinos meaning movement. They are a group of proteins with multifunctional purpose, and one of them are protecting you from infection. Our immune system releases these proteins during sleep, so it's obvious that sleep deprivation will decrease production of it. You'll need a certain amount of sleep. 3. Sunlight. Nowadays, technology are turning us into hermits. We do need to expose ourselves to some sunlight to absorb vitamin D. Vitamin D is actually a prohormone and it helps by supporting our immune system. Rule of thumb, if your shadow is longer than your body height, your body won't produce vitamin D. Between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. is the best time to get sun exposure. That is the time of the beneficial UV light. Depending on your skin type will determine the duration of time being exposed under the sun. 4. Movements, exercise. A lot of us live a sedentary life. That affects our lymphatic system in a negative way. The lymphatic system is a very intricate network of organs, vessels, and cells that work to keep us healthy. Lymph nodes and connected vessels are nutrient transportation between blood and tissue. As nutrients from the foods we eat, are being transported by the blood to cells throughout our body, it leaks blood from veins into the tissues, keeping the tissues cleaned and fed by the fluid from the bloodstream, and on its way to be drained into the lymph vessels. It gathers all the waste, pathogens, and damaged cells that aren't of any use. Lymph vessels act as a filter, separating pathogens, while the lymph nodes activate antibodies that fight infections. So, what does movement have to do with all of this? Simple. Every time the filtered fluid enters the lymph vessels, muscle contractions pumps it towards our neck. We have valves that prevent the fluid from flowing backwards. So every time the muscle contracts, the fluid is pushed higher. It's needed to flow upwards to reunite with the blood circulatory system that's located by the neck. Walking, jogging, and even jumping on a small trampoline while watching TV, listening to music, or just for fun in the house will help keep the muscle contracting. These are a few things I recommend you do to keep a healthy immune system. I guess the medical field decided to be superior and felt that the body is stupid now and they are smarter, so they feel the need to protect us with the flu shot. I mean, our skin heals from a cut. We don't even have to focus on healing. The body automatically does it. Our body is a phenomenal machine. It isn't inferior to doctors. Give your body the proper tools and your body will do the rest. Our body takes care of us, so it's only right we do the same in return. Look at everything that has gone wrong before. The Cutter incident and the Tuskegee experiment. And that's only 2 events. Look, I'm not telling you guys not to get the flu shot. I'm not a doctor. I'm just presenting you information that the mainstream media won't. From there, it's all up to you. As for me, I guess doing things how nature intended sounds more appealing. That is a journey I'm willing to take. Nothing strange about that.